Why Kathmandu cannot become one of the global center of excellence? We don't celebrate our people. Nepal is a poor country, but they are very rich intellectually people I have met.
From Nepal to global success, Aditya Jha, millionaire entrepreneur and philanthropist, inspiring the world.
One of the most notable things that I find was you sold your company $200 million to a American conglomerate called Sun Microsystems. And something that you are very personally proud of about a lot of scholarship that you have made available. And every year, 200 students gets to study for free with that scholarship from all around the world.
It's not about how great or not so great I am. It is about if I can share my life journey, that can give some insight to some people that what is possible, what can be done better.
Who built China? Chinese. Who built India? Indians. Who built Singapore? Singaporeans. So now who has to build Nepal? Nepalese. No one else is going to come from outside and build your home.
I really believe that scholarships make difference for right people.
Hi Aditya sir.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to have you on our podcast. And to our audience, today I am a bit nervous because I am not sure if I will be able to do justice with the time I have with Aditya sir, but I'll try my best. I'll give you a little bit introduction about him, and I'm going to list a lot of his videos on the description below. So maybe you want to check that out and get to know him better. Uh, Born in Nepal, raised or spent a good amount of time and education in India, then went to Singapore, Australia, and eventually settled in Canada. One of the most notable things that I find when I looked into you on internet was you sold your company $200 million to a American conglomerate called Sun Microsystems, and then went later on to start and initiate a lot of multiple businesses and initiative, and something that you are very personally proud of, not about the money but about a lot of scholarship that you have made available. Just now we were talking about 20 scholarship, right?
Yeah.
On your name, and every year 200 students gets to study for free with that scholarship from all around the world.
You finished the
So and there's so many other things that I found about you, but I think um, I would love you to say a little bit about you, and then we'll go into the conversation.
In my past 10 years, or I should say lifetime, this is only the second time I'm doing something on this media is with you, and that too because a good friend of mine introduced me to you, and I listened to you, and I was keen in a way that to see that a young person who's so serious, and so I'm very very happy. I am not trying to be just modest. I feel privileged. A young person who is serious, who is known, is interviewing me. It's not about how great or not so great I am. It is about if I can share my life journey, that can give some insight to some people that what is possible, what can be done better.
Mm.
I have had multiple events of success, and just to highlight how I describe is, I remember when I sold my company, which you said for 100 million US to Sun Microsystems. It was not that 100 million. We started with $1,000 investment.
Mm.
It is not the $1,000 investment. I was a general manager at Bell Canada. Within 2 years of arriving, I became general manager. I would have gone further, and I took that risk and left and started a company with a $1,000 investment, and then we got to sell. We got lucky to sell it for 100 million. Well, 100 million is not important.
Mm.
The important is that $1,000, that having that conviction, confidence, not the guarantee that I can do this, or leaving a job. Imagine growing up in a village. in Nepal and near neighboring Indian districts, a small town. You don't do that. You don't leave. I was general manager, company car and all. In Canada, you don't get that kind of thing because I was out of 5 years I worked. I was the 3 years amongst the best of the best. They had a category. They had a category of best, but the best of the best. That
Okay.
kind of thing. So very proud of all that. So that's why I'm happy if we can share some of the insights
Mm.
and not the recipe, but the ingredients of becoming what you want to be. The TV interviewer asked me, Aditya, you have realized your dreams. I said no, and she thought I'm a very arrogant guy. I said, do you realize a person growing up like this would even dream these things? It's beyond dream. So I'm very happy to be here with you.
And I think even to this day, maybe a lot of Nepali would be very surprised to learn about you and what you have done, because I think I don't think a normal guy in Nepal thinks of building $1 million company and selling it to a tech giants and getting whatnot. I mean, like, so I'm really very happy to do this podcast, because I think this is a validation that doer is a doer wherever he goes, whatever he has, and he will build something out of anything that he has on his hand.
You'll be surprised. We don't celebrate our people. Nepal is a poor country, but they are very rich intellectually people I have met. I was amazed that I remember one time I told there are more people in Ivy League schools from Nepal, there were, than many larger countries. More people working in the United Nations, Harvard professors, people like, I'm a big admirer who lives in Kathmandu, Bindu Lohani. He was the number 2 in Asian Development Bank. How many people know? Like you, if you ever interview somebody like him, he's like had a phenomenal life journey. Kunjar Sharma, who was a senior partner at BDO Dunwoody. These guys are there, but they are very quiet and very accomplished. So the problem is the individual success is phenomenal. It's the problem with any country, the collective success. Can you aggregate them? Nepal has not been able to aggregate them. In India today, you can aggregate. You can look around like this and you will see Google, Microsoft, Adobe, this, that, Citibank, IMF, World Bank, everywhere. But they are all being talked about. And I'm so impressed that you what are you doing? I hope that's your goal. You should talk about them. Okay. And this, how do you, जिसको हिंदी में I'll just say माला को पिरोना, flower, beautiful flowers are there, but if you put them together and arrange them, they look very different than the individual flowers you just show that.
Yeah, it's like the energy becomes energy.
Yes.
Yeah, very true. And I truly believe, right? I think one of the biggest problem in Nepal right now is we lack aspiration. I mean, like if somebody young wants to be an Elon Musk, he would definitely try to go to US, right? And then make himself surrounded by people of the similar nature or a similar aspiration. I think Nepali people have not seen Nepali origin people making so much good success around the world, because these people are not much talked about. So there is no dream to go and recreate. You know what I mean? I mean, like, for example, if I as a Nepali guy see another Nepali fellow who has achieved so much, now there is it can act as a ladder to me, even in my mindset, like a psychological ladder. If he can do it, I can do it too. So as you said, I think one of the core agenda of doing this Doers is to put a spotlight to people like you and tell this community that, look, people like you, or maybe people who had less than what you have now, have achieved so much. So maybe it's just about the mindset or just about doing things.
Before I joined you this morning, and I was thinking about that I must bring up a topic of people talk about entrepreneurship. I think Nepal needs radical entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And what is that radical? Radical entrepreneurs are a different class. The way they make money is the way they serve the society.
Mm.
I'm going to just repeat it. The way they make money is the way they serve society. If I do something very successful, like global company I build, and if I am able to motivate many other people to repeat it and do it. So basically what you're doing is you are serving society, but your purpose is to make money.
Mm.
So in business, if anybody says, I want to do good to society, no, that is secondary. But primary goal should be to make money. And then in that process, you should serve the society.
It's like serving the society has to be a byproduct of making money.
Yeah, that will happen. Like in California, why California becomes California? Why Boston becomes Boston? Why Bangalore is Bangalore? And also expecting that every Nepali will bootstrap themselves. Bootstrapping is a technical term, that lifting yourself with the strap of the boot, which is almost impossible.
Mm.
But that's the concept. I think you need a cadre of leadership type of even business people who not only want, like, if I have had not that great reason, like success in Nepal. 5 years I was trying to do things, and my goal was, why Kathmandu cannot become one of the global center of excellence? And how will it become? If my venture becomes a global center of excellence and similar people are there, there is an ecosystem of that. So those people, you can't expect masses to do that.
Mm.
In Chinese, there is a famous saying called fish rots from the head. So in Nepal, we have to think, how do we not allow the head to rot?
Mm. Mm. Plus, there is it's 20-80 formula, no? I mean, like 80% of the 80% of the is work done by 20% of the population, 80% of the wealth is generated by 20% of the people. So maybe it's the 20% of the leaders in Nepal that maybe can bring a positive change to 80% of the.
I would take that number to 1%.
Okay.
Yeah, 1% can move the world.
Mm.
One Lee Kuan Yew can move the world. You love it or hate it. One Narendra Modi can bring the changes.
Mm.
One Putin, many things are wrong, but look at where Boris Yeltsin was.
Mm.
And from there, where Putin has brought.
Mm.
You could have done many things different, better, but we really need, in every field, we need that quality of leadership.
Mm.
It is not here, everything, if we are going to focus on politics and government, any country where the political is the mainstream and political leadership and government is the main thing, that is the sign of a poor country.
Because you don't have other things happening around, and
because private enterprise has to be there. The wealth, any country you tell me which is a rich country, is just because the government is doing right thing. No. It's less and less. Even the GDP, if you dissect the GDP, public sectors are there even in India. But look at in America, how much a public sector is? No. It is the private enterprise which is creating the most of the wealth. The other thing is, which is very traditional in Nepal, we are still caught in the cycle of zero-sum game. I make money, you lose money. That was a Lala mentality. Lalaji will give you money, give you 5,000 rupees, and that 5 will become 25 for him. That means you are going to lose 25 because he's going to take only 25 from you. But this is a new world where you are creating things. We invested $1,000. We didn't take it from anybody else. It became a $100 million company. You have that exponential wealth creation. You create wealth. You don't accumulate wealth. You don't take away from other people. Or just because I know many government people and this and that, or I can hoodwink people into investing here and there. That is not a long term. That doesn't create a national wealth. That doesn't create the national prosperity. That doesn't create the national index of confidence in the society.
Something that, so in last couple of days, I've been through almost every videos that you have uploaded on YouTube channel. Thank God I didn't saw you on my dreams. But what I'm trying to say to you is, you have so many narratives, and I love a lot of them, because I think I personally could relate few things. And one thing that I found it so relatable was how you mentioned about the difference between the remittance and investment. How remittance comes, it gets consumed on a regular things, and even, but in terms of investment, they stay, they multiply, they grow, and they change the economy. And Nepal as a country with almost 25% of our GDP comes from remittance, right?
So remittance is a necessity for countries like India, Nepal, even India. 150 to 170 billion dollar comes as a remittance, largest in the world. I was looking at the number. 2/3 of the country's GDP is not even 170 billion. Okay, so but this remittance comes for consumption, as you said. Key is, can we do a paradigm shift? And it is possible in Nepal. We do a paradigm shift. We bring remittance, kind of a new paradigm of remittance, where that comes in the form of investment. $50,000 micro investments, not microfinancing, micro investment. Like when I started my company, started with the investment. So investments grow. It can finish, but investment grow, you create jobs and all that thing. So that is one thing we should think about, how this can become a destination for micro investment. We live in a knowledge economy. Knowledge economy, the carrier of knowledge is individuals. Nepal has 30 plus million of people there. How do you carrier of that knowledge, the mind, can be energized, trained, skilled, energized, so that it's like I was telling you other day, if you train 300 people, highest level of certification in artificial intelligence, and drop them in Biratnagar, you will see few companies starting in Biratnagar. Other people will come. That precisely happened at the early stage of Singapore. Lee Kuan Yew sent a request to the Swiss government that I would like you to start a precision industry company in Singapore. It was a fishing village kind of a country. They said, no, we can't do. You are newly democratic country. We are going to give you $2 million or something like that dollars as a grant. Look at how bright this leader was. He said, no, I don't need 2 million. What you do is, can you train my people in the precision industry in Switzerland? So I'm still forgetting number, but let's say 100 people were sent to Switzerland, trained in the field of precision industry. And what happened was, when they came back, after some time, a Swiss company was looking to relocate its factory somewhere in Asia. What do you look for? You look for many things. One of the key things is the trained people. And it showed in their in the database, there are about 100 people, highly trained, Swiss trained people in Singapore. No need to convince them. They started the factory there. So that kind of skilling of people. There are many areas, but problem is that people like me, I should blame ourselves also. We don't connect with the policy makers, but the instability in this country also does not create that environment to invite people like us, because we are a doer, as your show says. We are a doer. If Prime Minister Oli tells me, Aditya Ji, I want the entire country, 80% of the country in 2 years to be broadband. Can you do it? I'm 95% sure I can do it. Even if he says I don't have money, I said, okay, I have a model, even though I don't have money, but I say I have a model, I will do it, but allow me to do it. I don't want this CDO, BDO, or this other guy and this minister and that minister calling me, nothing. Because cookie cutter, literally like making cookies. Having a broadband network, how difficult it is. Everything is like a piece of things putting together. And who can do it? People like myself can do it, because we are doers. We will not do it till it becomes profitable. And it cannot be profitable. It's a public good mandate of the government. Private people capable of doing it only if it is profitable. There is a gap of being profitable. There is a viability gap. And smart governments will say, don't worry, Aditya Ji, we will give you protection. We will give you, nobody is going to harass you. We are giving you 10 years tax-free. I can't give you money, but I can give you tax-free. I'll allow you FDI. I'll allow you to take the money out, the profit out. There are many various things which can bridge that viability. That's why viability gap. It's much easier. If I was 15, 20 years ago and I understood what I understood today, I would have taken back my Nepalese citizenship, and with whatever money I have is enough for my lifestyle. I don't want to become the top 10, which is wrongly I'm highlighting to that. That doesn't matter to me. Top 10, even top 100 doesn't matter to me. Top 1,000 doesn't matter to me. I should have enough to lead a comfortable life, and my life is not a normal life. My life, I should do that. I would like to do the legacy. I want to live my legacy. I would have liked to have an opportunity where I can live legacy. Oh, I did it for Nepal, the place where my grandfather was born, my father was born, my great-great-great-great-grandfather was born. Only I was born outside.
Okay, so let's take this conversation towards more into a hypothetical side.
Okay.
Let's assume, let's not expect anything from the leaders. Let's assume for a while. Obviously, we need leaders and policy at the end of the day for everything. But in a hypothetical context, Nepal, I think, is at this point of time where it's a lot of Nepalese people abroad has reached a good position. They're in Silicon Valley, working at good banks, and they have good disposable income. The diaspora, and I think you are quite vocal about how diaspora can play a big role in uplifting a nation. So what? And now I'm also asking these specific questions because almost I think 40-45% of our audiences are Nepalese living abroad, and I believe these are people, if they are watching this conversation like this, these are people who have already reached somewhere. Now, hypothetically, how can we leverage our diaspora network to change this nation? Because I think I've read this book called Maverick Effect, written by Harsh Mehta. I think you must have been part of that era in Indian economy as well, where this Indian diaspora completely changed the tech ecosystem in India. So again, repeating my question, what role can our diaspora play who has now enough disposable income to change things here back home?
I think it's a brilliant question, and it is very much needed. I think let's not look for big guys making big investments. Micro investment, if I were to do something like that, if we can create a vehicle where an investment of $1,000 to $5,000 coming from 5,000 people, and they don't expect any return, but there are 2-3 credible people, like, for me, I know a few people, like I will just mention Jiva Lamichhane. If he's there, he's not going to take a cut from that. And I would not be doing anything else if I do that. If we can create a fund like that and also encourage few Nepalese, as you said, they're well off. The kids have gone to college or finished their college. Maybe they should there's a concept of sabbatical. So they should take a professional sabbatical here, come for 3 years. They say, I'm going to try something in Nepal for 3 years. I'm going to make it success. I don't aspire to build $1 billion company. Even if I can make $1 million company in Viratnagar, but a different kind of, these companies will be branded and seen. These people will be, these are Nepalese ninjas, the entrepreneur ninjas. They have come, they have taken sabbaticals, and we have created this micro fund there. And if we just in 5 years we create a success story of 50, 100 people in 10 to 15, not only Kathmandu based, it should not be Kathmandu based, other places, that will have a radical impact. That will have a thing, we don't know, unintended consequences of such kind of activity will only time tell. Like if I had nothing, if I drop myself in my village and go nowhere, there will be change. So micro investments, diaspora, 1,000 to 5,000, zero return. Managed by few people who have brand, who are at least rated integrity-wise different. Okay? And then just deploy that fund. In 10 cities, you choose 500 people, maybe 100 of that will become a success. We create $1 million person, but that should not be for riches. What we should train them, not only that they create wealth, but what do they do with the wealth they have created. Like I take a lot of pride that I am more proud. You see this pin I have, it's Order of Canada, that country's highest civilian honor. I'm a member of that. I got honorary doctorate. Those are my earnings. I have invested in Hall of Fame as a champion of public education in Canada. A guy coming from Jaleshwar near that Madhava Gaon and is vested in Hall of Fame as a champion of public education in Canada. Lifetime Achievement Award. I can walk. Most of the people who you get Lifetime Achievement Award, somebody is holding them and dragging them to the stage. Not that. So I think there should be some type of clarion call to 100, 500 diaspora members. Please come. 50, 100 of you should take sabbatical. Last night I was talking to a very, very accomplished Nepalese, Naresh Koirala in Vancouver. He's become quite old and sick. But the guy is an expert on building tunnels through the mountains. He was one of the top experts.
Someone like we actually need here in Nepal.
He would love. I think his health will become better if he just
come back to Nepal.
People come and touch his feet and say, Naresh Dai, guide us, teach us what to do, how to do.
What do you think is stopping these individuals to come back?
I
Policy?
think as an individual, we feel very, I can't do it. Oh. But I think if there's a collective voice comes, if 2, 3 of us, as I said, there should be a clarion call. Ahvan in Nepali, this is a word called Ahvan. Ahvan. You're just saying that's a clarion call that please come, help build this country. Because prosperity is necessary. This whole thing about Sarkar will give this, Sarkar will give that. From where? If there's no wealth, how will you give it? Wealth creation should be respected. Chori chamari should not be respected. By like I lost my bid. I didn't want to complain. 5 years I ran the national procurement system of this country. I was number 1 in technical review. Number 3 guy won it. And 2 years they have not been able to do anything there. So that kind of shenanigans, there has to be some kind of punishment. Because in my village, in my childhood, they used to say that Dayan bhi 7 ghar chhod deti hai. I say it in Nepali, how we will say that, is that they spare. So we should at least leave some things. This is a project of national importance. This guy, I'm just using my, Aditya Jha is a different class of guy. Let's not mess up with him. Give him the opportunity to do something. The another thing we should do, you look at the history of successful companies in America. Government initiatives built them. If there was no Department of Defense, you think many of the technology company would have been built? No private company has money and the wherewithal to invest. There's Raytheon and all those fighter jets that get built. You think the prototype can be built with their money? No. The government guys have this dream, and you go and sell to them and say, okay, take the $1 billion, build it. But they are also not like that, taking money from government here and then sending it to St. Kitts or somewhere. That is the problem here. They will use that money
To actually
to create
build.
something because they can take risk. If my dream was and still is that I should build a global center of excellence in public procurement. Why Nepal cannot have? Why India can have Hyderabad, Pune, this and that? Why it's not possible? One city in Nepal, Kathmandu, who should be, when people take name of South Asia, they should say Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Kathmandu. Why shouldn't it be there? I can, within 2 years, I can go to Canada and become a general manager. यहाँ पे तो मेरे को लगता है सुबह भी नहीं बन पाते शायद. I'm just joking.
I know, completely makes sense. So let me ask you another question connecting one of my personal stories. So I think I'm fortunate enough to travel to a few countries outside Nepal.
Yeah.
So on one of those travel to China,
Yeah.
I realized regardless of the brand and identity I have in Nepal, for example, getting to host a lot of successful people, sharing a frame with them, having a 15 plus team member working for me. I mean, like, it's kind of a good image that you have within yourself. Okay, we have done something for yourself, right? But on one of those travel to China, I realized my identity is not what I do with my career. Outside Nepal, my identity is I'm a Nepali. I'm a Nepali, a country which is struggling in economy, which is struggling in policy, which is struggling politically. So that's an identity that I carry when I step outside
I'll
Nepal,
interrupt
right?
you here. A very good friend of mine, Upendra Mahato, very successful individual. 20 years ago or 22 years ago in the US, he started speaking. And that time he and Jiva and all had launched NRN, and I was also one of the followers in that thing. And he said, it doesn't matter how much wealth individuals have. Till Nepal brand becomes big, I am nothing.
Exactly.
Something like that, he
Yeah.
said.
And then I asked a follow-up question to myself. So who built China? Chinese. So I was in India for I traveled to a couple of big cities. Who built India? Indians. I was in Singapore. Who built Singapore? Singaporean. I was in Malaysia. Who built Malaysia? Malaysians. So now who has to build Nepal? Nepalese. No doubt. No one else is going to come from outside and build your home, right? Even if they do, it will have some interline strings attached to it. So now I feel it's time to build Nepal because you have internet. A guy living in Kathmandu has equal access to information to a guy living in New York, right? Because of the internet. Internet is not expensive. It's quite cheap. I believe it's cheap. But I think there is some form of artificially created toxicity in Nepal among youth that this is a failed state. That if you stay any longer, you are going to regret in a longer run. You should go abroad. You should go outside. So now that there is a realization that Nepal can only be built by Nepalese, and these young Nepalese have this fear of missing out, and they are flocking outside like crazy. Every month, I think we lose 30 to 40,000 of youth going abroad. So what can be done? What's the next step? And when I ask this question to pretty intellectual people, because of the podcast, I have access to pretty smartest people in the country, I find them quite depressed towards the future of this country. And I think maybe because they know so much, the knowledge has actually made them handicapped. Because they have seen so much, they have seen so much of corruption, they have seen so much of wrongdoings, they cannot even bring an image of positive opportunities here in Nepal, and maybe that is what getting transferred to a younger generation. And this younger generation, I have this anxiety that if they stay any longer, it's going to.
It's a very long question.
Yeah, very
but
long question.
I'm going to answer one or two areas. Okay. I think this whole mindset of expecting from the government will do this or that and that itself is today's time and era. It's a misplaced expectation. So expecting government to do. Person like me, what I would expect is not from the government what they can do for me, what they should not do against me.
Okay.
If they can only like that procurement system thing, I was number 1 and still number 3 wins, just because somebody could do it from the government side. So they should not become a hindrance. There's no need of them to help. Because we are like bahti hui nadi ka dhara, pahad. Nepal knows pahadi nadi. Chota sa nadi is so powerful, nothing can stop them type, But if you just put boulders and boulders after that, what can you do there? So one is the government should not become the obstruction. Not help is not expected. And the second thing is that those who are in a leadership position, people like myself, I would say that we need to come together. Alone will be difficult because it becomes lonely, little bit lonely it looks. Come together and just do that. What you just said, the diaspora, and for the little guys, not big, businesses which will have revenue of $50,000, $100,000, maximum $1 million, that type of business. Build, and many of them, not one guy. And why Kathmandu should not be on the list of South Asian cities famous for technology.
Something like a Silicon Peaks.
Why not for university? You tell me which one is the equivalent of Indian Institute of Science, IITs. Not a one. It's just like a factory. It's like a sweatshop. The education institutions here are like a sweatshop. So we don't have this notion of center of excellence. Because the moment you will have it,
it's a pocket of excellence, but it's not center of excellence. It's not connected.
No, but even pocket-wise, maybe you know that. But I'm just saying, I don't know anyone which we can say that you can say South Asia's top institutes. Like today, world's top 10 technical scene, more than 5 are in China, not in America. So these are doable things. But we tie them too much with the government. So I don't know how to figure out that we will spare 1 or 2 sectors in the country where government will not create troubles.
Or will not interfere.
Just, you don't need to give them anything, no, but let them, inko khud saans lene do. Let them breathe themselves. And
maybe like create a system and let the meritocracy guide the system, right?
Let them grow themselves.
One thing that you are quite vocal about is the richness is not on developed roads or big buildings, but the richness is in the mindset. A country cannot be rich just by building skyscrapers and
I was
roads,
interviewed about India. India has a vision. So another thing is aspirational. Nation also has to be aspirational. Not only people. This prime minister, it looks like, for many people, is a ludicrous thing. By 2047, we will be a developed nation. Here we have 40% of people in the below poverty line in that country. It's a big challenge. So, as you said, and that of course it's necessary to have highways, airports, hospitals, institutes, everything. But also there need to be the mindset for a developed mindset. And since you have listened to my interview, I use that example of incident that happened in Japan.
Yeah.
Me, my wife, and son, we were staying at the Intercontinental Hotel. We checked out halfway to the airport. I realized I left. I was in the airport bus, and I left my passport, about 4,000 plus euro, 1,000 plus US dollar, and my other cards and everything in that safe box. And I panicked. I called the hotel, and I said, "Can I talk to the general manager?" He said, "What is the matter, sir?" I said, "I left these things." He said, "Let me connect you to the housekeeping." I said, "Please connect me to the general manager," because I'm thinking, oh, it's so much of money of mine and this and that. Housekeeping is like we think safai wale log hote hain. That's what it is.
They'll take away something.
Yeah,
like that.
something. I was really, you're right. I thought maybe they will take some money away. So still, she connected me to the housekeeping, and she asked me, "What do you want?" I said, "Can I talk to the general manager?" He said, "Sir, what do you want?" I said, "I left this as a hold." Within 30-40 seconds, she says, everything is there, what you just said. Where should I send by taxi? The housekeeping person telling me, where should I send it by taxi? I said, "Taxi?" Say, "Yeah, it will reach you in 30-40 minutes. And I was very nervous. She says, "You just wait in the private car area outside the airport, and let me call you." In 2-3 minutes, she calls me. "This is the taxi number. This is the name of the driver. And he will charge you this much money," because airport airfares, taxi fares are known, or something like that. She said, "He will come and give it to you." And I'm waiting outside. My son and wife has got inside. I'm waiting outside. In 35-40 minutes, a car comes. I can see that number. He comes, stops. Driver comes out, bows, and then goes back, brings a pouch with everything inside, gives it to me. I'm still doubting that something may have been lost. And I gave him the money, and then I want a tip. He said, "No tip, sir. No tip, sir." I go inside, everything is there. Now you tell me, is it to do with the 5-star hotel, road, taxi? That was the mindset. A taxi driver and a housekeeping person can do that. That is a developed country, developed nation.
Giving is easy, so what is hard?
Having that heart that I want to part away with my money, that is the most difficult distance to travel.
Is there anything particular you wish you knew that you know now, that you wish much younger version of Aditya would have known?
It is not important how you grow money. If you can protect your money, I tell my friends, forget about growing money. Your kids are not smarter as you. If I have done one thing consistently right, is my philanthropic work and enhancing my improving, enlightening myself. When I sold my company to Sun Microsystems, I should not have gone on an entrepreneurial journey. There must be some problems there. And many of our people, even in Nepal, there are many examples, the good examples people can do. How do we highlight it? How do we talk nicely about it? How do we change that mindset?
So how do we change the mindset? Education?
I studied at Jawaharlal Nehru University. I was amazed that the level of debate and discussion was very different. Entire elections were conducted by students. I believe even now this is being conducted by students and all that. So first of all, these are very complex issues, but there's a multiple layers to that. And if we go in a layered way and we create some example in certain areas, if we start going to boil the ocean and fix everything, then it is a problem. We will have to choose some areas, 1 area, 2 areas. We will have to just create a sandbox in technology wise, we say, that let them do whatever they're doing in this. You don't have a investment board of Nepal and every 9 months you come, instead of giving a child, you have a new CEO. So you don't change things just like that.
So I think I understand what you're trying to say is, Anup, we have to go into more details and maybe go into more niche to identify a problem and solve it. They cannot be a one blanket solution.
No.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's go niche.
Mm.
So how do we change the mindset of a guy who is like 24-year-old, recently graduated from university here in Nepal, and now he has to make a decision whether he want to stay in Nepal or go abroad. So I would like to change the mindset. You tell me how. You tell me, this is not possible. This is possible. Guide me. So I want to change the mindset of this guy to at least invest a year or two in Nepal, and then see the opportunities, and then decide whether you want to stay or go.
It won't happen.
Okay, it won't happen.
I drive in Canada.
Mm.
I see a stop sign. No car coming from in front, on the right, on left. I still stop. So it has to be the process, the system. That young guy will behave if he's working or she's working in my company, what kind of environment I create to nurture that mindset.
Mm.
Yeah. Expecting somebody who's just beginning his career, unless he or she has been schooled that way, mentored that way, if there is a tradition of mentorship. Kathmandu, I believe, has the highest number of monasteries and all that. There are people who go there, they follow certain path. They don't come prepared that way. But that the moment they are on that path, there's a stop sign, they know where to stop, when to go, how to live.
Mm.
So we will have to create those pockets. That becomes example. And then people like you should talk about it. You should talk about different kind of people. It's not listening to Aditya Jha that they will get a solution how to become like him or better. Rather, solution, they should look at me and this interview as an inspiration. It should trigger their aspiration and a thought process. Eventually, they will all figure it out. Or if this system allows few companies, or the diaspora thing we talked about, we do that. If there are 20-25 professional diaspora people who are working at Amazon and others, now they have left, why shouldn't they come? They should say to their wife and all, Namaste, I am gone for 3 years. I will come. I'm taking a professional sabbatical to build a success. And also, I'm going to test myself how good I am. I've been working at Microsoft all my life and thinking I'm such a bright guy. Come here in Biratnagar, can you build a successful company? That will show your real mettle, who you are. Like I do because I have failed many times. People in the internet and all, they talk about all the good things you see. My failures are many-fold more. In my case, like people introduce me as a serial entrepreneur and I explain it. Typically, people think serial entrepreneur, he has done one and then the second and third and fourth, okay? I say in my case, it's different. He's done one and failed in second, then again said, oh, no, let me try third. I failed there, then try one more, fourth. So I am that kind of serial entrepreneur, but very confident, very, very confident. Because of the philanthropic work I have done, my public profile, I've served on various Government of Canada boards, I've served on various provincial boards, educational institutions. So it has given me, also, this is amazing. In Mahabharata, they start like that. The beginning of Gita is Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samveta, Yutsava, Mamkascha, Pandavaschaiva, Kim Kurvata Sanjay. धृतराष्ट्र asked संजय, हे संजय, बताओ मुझे उस धर्म क्षेत्र कुरुक्षेत्र में मेरे अपने बंधु बांधव मेरे पुत्र क्या कर रहे हैं. So that samagra drishti, we need few people to have that samagra drishti. They don't have samagra solution. We don't have, I wish maybe in some place somebody after listening to this creates a club where people, like when they come, they say, who is in the town of so and so? Okay, we want to have a small gathering to have a discussion. In JNU, it was like that. Every evening we are just fighting, debating, discussing. till if you and I meet, if I meet with you 10 days in there, the things will change. I was reading about Vivekananda when he was traveling from Japan, the famous Chicago world religion, where the Vivekananda gave the famous speech of Brothers and Sisters of America. So what happened? He traveled with Ratan Tata, not Ratan Tata, the original Tata, and Vivekananda. Here is a religious man of the highest order. Here is an entrepreneur of the highest order. And what they said, when both alighted in the United States, Tata had become a little bit more religious, and Vivekananda had more appreciation of business. So that's what a company does. That's the kind of ecosystem. It's not necessarily, the funding de dijiye, I have an idea, give me money. If I think enough life experience I have, if I'm going to be here for one more week, if the 3 evenings, 2 hours, somebody says, "Aap hamare yahan aaye, samosa and thing, I'm going to do momo and this, but I want you to talk to these 10 guys." Something will come out of that. You don't know. Human mind, a very funny way. It's like a carom board. It's not, doesn't just go through that hole. It triggers and this will go somewhere and that something will go somewhere. We don't know what kind of trigger will happen. Where in the company, Kabir Das ka is this famous saying, Kabira sangat sadhu ki hare aur ki vyadi, sangat buri ya sadhu ki aatho pahar upadhi. If you have good people's company, aatho prahar, in Hinduism, there are 8 periods in a day, 24 hours is divided into 8 segments. He says, not only it will do good to you, it will do good to things around you if you are in the company of good people. And if you are in the company of bad people, 24 hours you will have problems. You don't know what will happen. So that is another thing should be there. We should have a forum where people meet. If you read Roman literature and all that, why the initial city of Rome was a state? There was no Raja, there was nobody. Every senator was equal. Debate, discussion. Philosophers were respected much more. They were also doing bad things. Out of 12 months, 6, 7, 8 months, they will go and conquer the countries, kill people, this and that. But there was a great value for intellect, for certain degree of civility. So many things special. So maybe something. People like me have to come out. Even I'm talking more, but doer banna padega.
No, I mean, like, we have done everything average Nepali guy would want to have in his life. And I think now you are beyond that angle thinking of how can I give back more. And my follow-up question is, hosting these 300 plus people, I started identifying patterns among different successful ones. And one particular pattern that I have seen among people who have been somewhere from nowhere. I mean, like, these are bootstrap people who have made something out of themselves, people who have been through thick and thin. These people are always concerned about how they can give back to the society, how they can help the youth. And I see that pattern in you. In most of your interviews, you have talked about scholarship, how can you give back. You will feel much more rich if you could extend the 200 scholarship to 200 people, to 2 lakh people. And it's always about giving back, helping people. So my question is it that nature in you that you want to recreate more of Aditya Jha in the future, or do you want to, because you have been so much, you have done all your education in scholarship, you were not born in a very privileged family. So is it something inside you that you want to recreate more of these Aditya Jha, that you always want to give back through education? You have created a system of endowments where the money never runs out, and the profit that comes after the investment of that particular sum keeps on funding this scholarship. And that's a very smart move.
So though I am educated in a Western education and all that thing, to your question, I'm going to answer in a very old way, a Hindu way. It is not that I want to give to others. I am right now It is not that average Nepali would like to be like me in many. I have many ways which I'm better than average people in most of the ways.
Most of
But
them.
that is not the parameter for me. For me, the parameter is that what is that I am not yet. Me, not better than others. That is not important. And that is our very Hindu way of uncovering our boundaries beyond our boundary. Uncovering our boundary beyond our boundary. And that is possible. I have experienced recently, just 1 week ago, a project we have taken. Because my neighboring district is Sitamarhi. I was born in Sitamarhi, and Sitamarhi is the place where Sita Ji was born. And this had become, I'm an international trustee of Ramayana Research Council. And my dream suddenly had become that we should build a temple for Mata Janaki. Okay? And that will be expression of women emancipation. If you read from a little bit of leftist point of view, Ramayana and all that, it's all about Ram and everybody else. Sita Ji is just like a sidekick. She is the ultimate sacrifice, ultimate companionship, and most, she has suffered the most. She was Mahavidusi. If you go Gargi and Sita Ji ka Sambad, how many people know about it? We come from here. Raja Janak is from Nepal. How many of us know that? So I'm excited. I'm now that we just got allotted a land by government of Bihar, 12 acres and all that. So my goal, personal life goal is not what I give, is rather what all I can give to myself beyond me. But the beneficiaries are others. It's like, suppose in front of my house, I built the best of the garden. I want a garden for myself, but that garden is for everybody. I really believe that scholarships make difference for right people. I studied in JNU, 100% expenses paid for. That made me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be there. So I would like anybody who deserves should get it. But then they should give it back to them. And that is my dream. For me, others see it, he's helping others. But I'm helping my dream. So I'm giving to my dream. I'm not, and in the process, others are getting it. But my goal should be, that's why I define philanthropy beyond charity. Charity is very condescending, very paternalistic. मैं rich आदमी हूँ, मैं बहुत भला, I'm a very big, sorry I'm switching to Hindi. I can do Mathali and Nepali बहुत, I will do मलाई त्यति नेपाली आउँदैन. So anyway, so it is, I lost the train of thought, but I don't know what I was saying.
You're talking about giving.
Yeah, so you
philanthropy and the charity.
But the difference. Charity is very condescending, very paternalistic. I'm a rich guy. I'm a kind guy. I'm a nice guy. You are a poor man. Or this guy is not very educated. Let me help him. I think I have gone beyond that in my thought process. I believe in helping, and I want to do for my belief. Though beneficiary will be you, that is not my concern. I want more entrepreneurs to be there. One of my projects with the Aboriginal people in Canada, which I think got me the Order of Canada and all that, I didn't know that, was to nurture entrepreneurship, because I believe they deserve to be financially independent. It's my belief. But how will that happen? By helping them. So one can look at it as though I'm helping them. But other way to look at it is a little bit higher plane, is that I'm helping my desire to help. I hope I'm not being very pedantic.
No. Your metaphors make sense. On the same note, this morning you said, Anup, giving is easy, and I asked you, so what is hard? And you said, building a mindset to give.
Having the heart to give.
What do you mean
Giving
by that?
is easy means if you want to give, because By giving money, what it takes? You have money in the bank, you cut a check or give the money. You don't have to go and climb the mountain or do something to give. But having that heart that I want to part away with my money, that is the most difficult distance to travel, which is inside you.
So the distance becomes shorter if you yourself have came from nothing.
No, not at all. I don't think so. You said it. There is no general way the people who have come from the poor background, they will help others if they are helped. I don't think. I have seen all kinds of people in my own life that it's a different, it's a graduation process. I graduated to giving when I was 44 years old. I always thought about myself, nothing else. I had a dream. I want to work in a white man's company, multinational company, because typical gaon ka log, that's how we think. And I thought in America, Canada, I cannot become the CEO, which was wrong. So I wanted to be number 2. And that's why I was working like this. And I was on that path. I said, I'm good. I have been always very overconfident. So I always thought I'm better than most of the people, which is not true. But I think that way.
And it has helped.
That helps because that at least allows me to go on.
Oh.
Yeah. That allows me to go on. For me, nobody is a hero. I just a lesson. Like people ask me, who's your hero? I said, nobody's my hero. But I admire people who have done heroic work. And I admired that. I learned from that and different. This guy is that good. Shivaji was good the way he did it. He didn't fight like Maharana Pratap. Maharana Pratap was them सामने से मार देंगे मर जाएंगे. शिवाजी है मार देंगे नहीं तो भाग जाएंगे. So different people have different strategy.
So while I was reading about you, you seems like you had it all. You have done everything. You had all your honors. You have all the respect, and then all the access that you as an individual need, right? So, what is it? What is something that you are looking for yourself in next 10 years? What is something that you want to achieve next? What is something that keeps you awake?
I had planned to be philanthropic.
Okay.
There's a famous author called what is the name? The 7 Habits of the Most Effective People. Anyway, the first chapter he says the purpose of life is to live, to love, and leave a legacy behind. On my foundation site, when I started my foundation 23 years ago, I wrote, I'm very good at copying things and making it better. So I said, the purpose of life of mine is to live, to love, and to live my legacy while I'm alive. After I am dead, I don't care. Many people say, sir, aap aisa karenge. If you do like this, your name will be known. Who the hell cares whether my name is known? Because I'm not there. I don't care. I should be able to do things which today you saw my friend Tashi, whom you know, and he was saying like that you want to see things now. If you have done good or bad, because he was talking, I said, what will happen? Will my afterlife will be improved? He said, no, now. And that's what I believe. We should do things, good or bad result, we should be able to see it, own it, live it.
So, for now,
so I want to have, I'm stuck because of my certain wrong choices I have made in my life, but I want to lead a life which has a more meaning than my physical self, and definitely not my family. My family, only responsibility, only 2 things I have. Family. A, you make them able enough that they can be better than me because they are growing up in a better circumstances than myself. Okay, that is one. Secondly, even in my extended family, people should not die of food and this. and basic medicine, because advanced medicine these days you can go bankrupt in today's treatments environment, but that's what it is. But living your legacy, not because I'm a better person, because I want to become a better person. It is not important for me to be called Aditya is smarter. I need to say, what are the stupid things I should not do? That is more important for me. Now, external validations are not that important. Internal validation has become very important for me.
Is there anything particular you wish you knew that you know now, that you wish much younger version of Aditya would have known?
There are many points, but I can tell you, since I made money, I have learned one thing. If people are listening, they should. It is not important how you grow money. If you can protect your money, imagine that much of money, so much I had in 2001. If I could have just protected it, you don't need anything. But we are always crazy about the bright ideas and this and that. And now I tell people, think about what you're going to protect. And if you have, I have friends who are very, very rich. They ask me, they like me, because at least one thing I feel a little bit my ego-wise, that I'm considered as an intellectual entrepreneur. I'm not like just a entrepreneur. I read a lot, I analyze a lot, I speak, and I go on issues like that. I tell my friends, forget about growing money. Your kids are not smarter as you. You can dream whatever. Most of the rich, successful entrepreneurs, their kids are a poorer version of them, and they don't accept it. Kids definitely don't accept it. So I said, train them for two things: how to spend and how to give. Because even that they won't know, and they will become, because statistically, wealth doesn't even stay one generation. And in 3 generations, almost every wealth gets finished.
If you had to start a company at this point, if you had to start a new company at this point of time, what are the, so I'll not ask you what are the things you'll do, I'll ask you what are the things you will not do. 3 things you will not do.
Number 1, I did not, because I'm not a trained business person. I was doing my PhD in computer science. I was trained to be a professional and this and that. I did not know, my friend Tashi and all, he knows cash flow. I didn't know cash flow. I took a chocolate factory which was being closed down by Cadbury. Deloitte said it's not viable. I made it viable in 1 year. Profitable, I made it with sheer determination, hard work, blah, 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 blah. But what hit me hard was cash flow. I will not get into the detail of that thing. So cash flow is very important.
So out of 3 things, 1 is cash flow.
Cash flow. What should be the number 2? Number 2 is what Credit Suisse First Boston is one of the very big banking company. There, a guy who was money manager in 2001, he was managing 4 billion. Today, he must be managing 50 billion. So I asked him, guys like me, I made money first time in my life. What is the mistake I do? People like me do. He said, I heard, but I didn't implement that. He said, he used an example of baseball. He said, when you hit a home run, like it's like in cricket, when you hit a chakka, he says, try to stay in baseball, stay on the plate. Don't go for another home run. And people, because this whole newfound confidence of having made money is that you want to go another chakka, and that's how you go out, get out.
You get too excited too fast.
So the key is that take a pause and think. And you are meeting with my friend, he'll tell you how much money he had. And today we have that Hindi thing he may not understand, is Nari muwe ghar sampat nasi, mood mudaye bhay sannyasi. Your wife dies, or you divorce in today's concept, or your entire wealth is lost, then you shave off your head and become a sannyasi. So don't become that. So second is that you have to cash flow, and the second is that
Don't get too excited. Take a
uh,
pause.
just
Go
just
slow.
just just settle,
Mm.
little bit settle, and then go relaunch yourself. Okay. And the third is learn to give, which I did good job. I did good job. I am very, if I have done one thing consistently right, is my philanthropic work and enhancing my improving, enlightening myself in that area intellectually. I'm very, very happy that God has been very kind, that He has constantly allowed me to think and reflect on me. You know, the leadership, people here mostly say, hey, बहुत bright hai. He's a very bright guy. But emotional intelligence is how enhanced, how heightened is your sense of awareness. I'm sitting here, and if I can't understand what you are thinking about me, your body, my own thing, like all this, that is the quest I am on that. But third, I have not given you a good answer.
No, you think you did give a good answer.
Okay.
One is, so what I asked you was, if you had to start something again, what would you not do? So one, you will not be irresponsible towards your cash flow. That means more responsible
I want
towards.
to tell you one thing. When I sold my company to Sun Microsystems, I should not have gone on an entrepreneurial journey. I have everything. I'm well trained. I've worked in various countries. I've been to France, Singapore, Australia. I had permanent residency, Canada, and I've done all these things. Looking back, I should have joined companies like Microsoft with something. I still feel there was a chance shot I could have been the CEO. And you can do today this whole notion that you can only make money by being an entrepreneur. No. You can be entrepreneur. There is other advantages and disadvantages, but you can be a more entrepreneurial
In whatever you do.
whatever business you are. Every time I think of that guy who made that iPod, that small device, music, he changed that company.
But you did work in Sun Microsystems even after the acquisition, right?
No, I was too cocky. That's a different podcast. I should have stayed there. I could have, definitely I would have been in any big multinational. It may sound very immodest to say, I would have been number 2 in most of the, any multinational I would have been. I feel, and when you are in the right platform, you grow. There's a study done on horses. A winning horse of a lower race course, which is speed is lesser than the loser of Kentucky Derby. But if you take that winner horse to the higher race course, sometime that same horse will win. Because why? Because when you have a winner's mindset, it is not what was your past performance. You are a winner, you go to a new platform, you will win. You could win, not you will, you could win. So that's the one regret I have, that I should not have gone on an entrepreneurial journey. I should have joined one of the global multinational. First time I'm saying it publicly.
You have talked a lot of times when people have appreciated you about your success, you have constantly mentioned, these are just few successes that I had, but if we go into my failures, there will be tons. Maybe we can even write multiple books around it. So obviously,
and I don't consider failures to be the pillars of success.
You hate these failures.
I hate failures. I don't want to learn from my failure. I want to learn from your failure and my success.
But I think there is this thing in spirituality, nothing can be yours unless you experience it. So you can only know my failure, but unless you experience a failure, it is very difficult
totally
for
different.
you to...
Anubhuti is the word, okay?
Okay.
People can have not only anubhuti beyond you, those who are, if you go to some serious monks and all that, they can see things beyond themselves. People, those who are siddh, they can have a paranormal anubhuti.
Experiences.
I believe in it. I don't have something to back it up. And I have been so well trained at Bell Canada. I have done courses 3 days on body language just to read the body
Mm.
without verbal.
Mm.
Okay, so there are many things are very evolved.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. I think we're almost on a last phase of our podcast. So obviously, I will not like to frame it as regrets, because the position that you are in, the mindset that you have, I think you have that mindset of seeing everything from an opportunity lens. But if I want to go deep on the lane where I want to ask you, if there any things, let's say 3 things you wish you had done better, though you have already mentioned one, that you could have stayed in Sun Microsystems or any big conglomerates, and rather than to explore other entrepreneurial experiences. But what I want to ask is, looking back in your life, now that you can connect the dots better, um, 3 things, 3 failures.
Now we're not going to talk about
You
failures.
don't want to talk about
No,
failures.
no.
Okay, let's shift the question then. Mm. So you are in Nepal. Are you here for some
I am
business?
relaunching myself.
You're relaunching in Nepal
Yeah, one more try.
around the same procurements
Yeah,
business.
I'm a little bit hot dharmi, I'm saying.
Mhm.
And though I'm not sure how far I'll go, but I will at least walk.
Mm. Mm. Would you like to go a bit deeper on that?
No.
Okay. So, will normal Nepali will ever get to a common Nepali will ever get to know more about your initiation in Nepal if it goes north?
You should do a town hall type of thing. One of the things I would suggest,
Mm.
because I have heard a lot of good thing about you, maybe once a month, you should do a 50, 100 people town hall kind of a thing. You take a scan, 5-star hotels, 4-star hotel. Is there anybody, some unusual person has checked in?
Mm.
Invite 2-3 people, just have coffee, chai type thing, and a discussion. When I was a PhD student, I went to Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. It's a
Mm.
world-class institute.
Mm.
Always there is 1 or 2 Nobel laureate sitting there.
Mm.
And that way it gives a platform for people to consult,
Mm.
converse.
Mm.
Success people have big ego. We have this whole notion of behaving like little God.
Mm.
So you want to talk about things. People say, Acha, tell us how this would happen. So, okay, sit here. I'm going to tell you
Mm.
what you could do. Create that environment. You never know.
Mm.
That could be another, maybe that could be a different kind of podcast, where
Mm.
podcast is normally one-on-one, rather with the audience type of thing. It's a mini town hall kind of a thing. Just this thought came to me.
I'll definitely think around it, and I'll see what can be done. So I'll ask you the one last question. I'm 34-year-old, soon to be 35. I've invested last 10, 12 years trying to do business here in Nepal. I think I've achieved something, but I think there's so much more to be achieved. I fear if I will not be able to go global, but yet the aspiration are global. I want to be a global entrepreneur. So, if you have to suggest me a very vague suggestions, in 2025, what would be your top 3 suggestions to me?
I'll give you one suggestion.
Okay, just give me one.
First
suggestion.
of all, this is the old thinking that I am in Nepal or I am in America.
Mm.
To me, it's an old thinking. Because look at me. I come to India, to my farmhouse. India, I come, or Nepal, all this 6 to 8 times. So there is no this whole thing that I am America based. If you do well, you could be 1 week in Kathmandu having this whole podcast thing. You could be sitting in Athens and doing this podcast. Nobody will know that. Okay, so only thing, you have to build a successful this whole business, and definitely you should have a global city in mind. Your sweet spot could be, in my view, just South Asian, primarily Nepali, but make yourself South Asian. And after Nepali, focus on India, because that's a very big crowd. and the message will resonate similar. So create your audience base in a different way. And then you can think of Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan. As a Nepali, you will have that acceptability, which even a top Indian podcaster will not have the same acceptability in the Pakistani audience or Bangladeshi or Sri Lankan. Because this is basically the same. In my view, they are no different. The same gene pool. So you should not think in terms of whether I should be in Nepal or outside. You be successful and be global. So you eventually can be globally local. Wherever you'll be local, but you are globally local.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't know if I was able to do justice to a personality like you for giving me a couple of hours of your valuable time. And for audience, I think I am very sure that these 2 hours would not have been possible to bring out everything from Aditya sir. So I'm going to list a lot of his videos. Please go and check it out. A very wonderful human being to know more about it. Sir, where are you most active? For example, if somebody is watching this podcast, they want to write a good message to you, they want to reach out to you, what would be an ideal place, approach?
I am not prompt, but he or she can write at Aditya, Aditya, at poafoundation.org and CC to your email.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
and it is not that whether you can do justice. Your audience is going to write about you and I, and that will tell whether I did a good job or you did a good job, or whether we both did a good job or not that good job.
So once again, thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for the time. And I hope your stories is going to act as an aspiration for a lot of young Nepali of what can be achieved, what can be done. And yeah, and best of luck for everything that you're trying to do again here in your, let's say, a second inning in Nepal.
Second inning in Nepal. Thank you so much.
For everybody who's watching this, if you have watched us this far, you got that patience. I've had my own good takeaways from Aditya sir. I hope you had too. I like to thank our team who is making behind the camera, behind the computer screen, making sure that everything is perfect and the content comes to you on time. I'll also like to thank our production company, Viewfinders. Viewfinders is one of the largest B2B content producer in Nepal. So if you are a business looking to activate your digital footprint, if you are a business looking to create more digital content and to activate your sales, we are definitely one of the right company. I like to tell again, we are one of the largest B2B content producer in Nepal. Our link is below. Reach out to us and we know definitely we can help you with our content strategy. We'll be back again with another amazing conversation. Till then, you guys take care. Bye-bye.